Okay, I'm going to tell you guys step by step how to sew on an invisible zipper, and the steps are really easy. So this is just the material, and you want to sew like this piece of interfacing. It's the fusible kind that like when you iron it, it glues there because like, it's got a glue. So we're just going to iron this. Just like this. What this does, it helps stabilize the fabric, especially if the fabric's kind of flimsy, and then this will help when we sew on the zipper. And you want to keep this open. A lot of time they tell you to sew on the seam at the bottom first, but you want to keep this open because this is the more industry style. And then now we're just going to serge this off just to finish off a nice clean edge. Okay, now I'm just going to serge off this. You're going to serge all the way down, the whole length. This will have a nice clean edge. You serge this on. This is the wrong side, so we go from the right side and we take the zipper and see, it's like this way and this way. You can open it, whatever. And we're gonna pin it here. Pin this along, and then we're gonna baste it. You can, depending. Why? Yeah. Because this is a loose garment, you don't have to worry about the sizing or like this have to be right on the edge or back here. Normally, if it's a fitted item, you want to try it on and you'll pin it. So sometimes it like the zipper is sewn like a bit curved like this, and that depends. So that's if it's a fitted item. Since this is not, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to sew it right along the edge right here. Tail, you want to mark off, because this is both on the same sides. This is so that you know where to start and where to stop sewing, so that when you have the finished item, it looks really smooth from the front, the right side. Just like this. So I had this side pinned on, so I'm going to start exactly there, baste this on one side, and then we'll do the other side. So what I've done, it's on regular, the same foot, and I put the needle on the far left so that's close as possible, and it's on the longest length, sorry. So I'm just going to baste all the way down, and don't backstitch. The wrong side, this is the piece with the zipper already on, and this is the other side. So I'm going to line this up like this, and then put this like this way, and you want to make sure this part lines up. And now we're just going to pin all the way along here and then baste this side. Then we're going to check it out that it's quite even, and then we'll sew inside the groove to make it invisible. Okay, so now I basted both sides on and it's even. And if it's not even at this point, you can undo it and fix it up. And also if you're doing like a dress where there's like a seam along this side and you want it to match up, you do the same technique where you go on this side. Before you base it, you want to put the white marking like how I did at the bottom here. Right here. You want to do that where the seam is as well, so that when you match it up on the other side, the seam will be straight across here. And now we're going to go in with the zipper foot and sew into like this little, okay, so now we need the zipper foot, and this is what a regular foot looks like. It depends on your machine. You can look at your manual to find that. And this is, for mine, this is the zipper foot. It has, see how it has like more space for you to get into the zipper? So what it looks like this, so it's here, you place it like this, and so the needle can get right in here. And when you sew, you want to try to open this up. You have to go pretty slowly. I go pretty slowly because sometimes I even sew my finger, so you have to be careful. And so you hold this groove open a bit, and then you sew down. Get like as close as possible because you have to keep going back and forth. And you want to make sure now you don't do as long stitch, just standard stitch length, and make sure you back stitch on both ends. And when you get down to the bottom here, where that white line is, you want to make sure you stop exactly at the white line. So on both sides, and now we'll just sew. Nice and invisible. And later we're going to iron this. And now we have this part. This part's open. So what we do, fold this over like this, and fold here. And then we'll go in with the machine and see the line where we did the sewing for the zipper. We're going to try and get as close to the line, and then keep the same seam allowance and go all the way down to finish up the seam. And then when you finish that, on this side, it should be all nice and smooth. Okay, so now the seam is nice and complete, and it's all flat like this, and you can't even, like, it's completely flat. Because normally, if you sew the seam before you put the zipper in, after you put the zipper in, sometimes if it doesn't line up properly, it's all buckled. So it's easier to put the zipper in and then sew the seam afterwards. Okay. So now what we're going to do is see how like this is kind of hanging right here. We're just going to take one side and then open up flat and just sew right here. Just to tack this down so it doesn't like buckle up and stuff like this. Okay, so now the seam's all done. This is tacked on. We need to iron it, and you can't just place the iron directly on top of the zipper because that will melt the coils and then the zipper won't open and you'll just waste all your time. So you use a towel and we just cover it, make sure this is all flat. What you can do first is actually lift this part up and like iron like the flats here. And then you place the towel over top and make sure it's nice and flat. And just gentle, pretty light. Don't stay in one spot too long. And then you open it. Then you can go and check if you need to go in more. And so that's it.